smallest nuclear power. It requires only the will to do so.
But how is it possible for this thing to be triggered automatically and at the same time impossible to untrigger?
Mr. President, it is not only possible, it is essential. That is the whole idea of this machine, you know. Deterrence is the art of producing in the mind of the enemy the fear.
At the 1980 Golden Globes, Peter Sellers snagged the trophy for Best Actor in a Comedy or Musical for his killer turn in the satirical gem Being There. Plus, he landed an Oscar nod for Best Actor. Talk about going out with a bang. These were the capstone honors for a wild ride of a career that kicked off when he was barely 2 weeks old. Debuting on stage at the King's Theatre in Southsea, Portsmouth, that breezy UK seaside spot where he entered the world. His folks were vaudeville pros, always hitting the road, ditching their lone kid for stretches that felt like forever. Yeah, his early years were a hot mess, but dang, it primed the pump for a lifetime, packed with head trips, roller coaster romances, and epic meltdowns on set. Despite Mama's iron-fisted grip and Peter's killer shyness, those two were glued at the hip. Way too tight, if you ask his pal Spike Milligan, who called it straight-up toxic for a full-grown dude. Toss in that he got named after his stillborn big bro, and boom, those mommy hang-ups? Totally not a shocker. Fresh out of RAF duty in W2, Sellers dove headfirst into the entertainment grind. To snag a BBC audition, the sly fox rang him up faking a pitch-perfect Kenneth Horne impression, that smooth-talking radio king, to grab their ear. Producer Roy Spear ate it up, and just like that, Sellers locked in as a radio regular. By the tail end of the 40s, he'd linked up with Harry Seacombe and Spike Milligan, setting the stage for the Goon Show, that bonkers radio riot that owned the 50s. It's trippy, off-the-wall vibes. They lit a fire under a pack of Cambridge kids who'd morph into Monty Python. No cap, the goons were straight fire. By the time The Goon Show wrapped in 1960, Sellers had hitched up with Aussie actress Anne Howe, popped out 2 kiddos, and jumped into flicks like The Lady Killers alongside his hero Alec Guinness. And hold up, enter Peter Sellers Kite, this guy who's all about seizing the day, hot iron or not. Brother Windrush, gotta hit you with the real talk. Did you team up with the bosses or what? Me? Team up? Get out of here. That shyness morphed into full-blown doubt about cracking Hollywood, and man, he started ghosting his fam. Straight up neglectful, sometimes downright mean. In 1960, he jumped at The Millionaires, hyping it to the press 'cause he'd rub elbows with Sophia Loren. But his real game? He spilled to Anne that he was head over heels for the Italian stunner. Dude even roused his sleepy 6-year-old son at 3 a.m. to grill him on divorce vibes. Bro, hit up a shrink, not the kiddo. Later, he ghosted his own babies after polling them on who they dug more, mom or dad, and hating the score. Divorce hit in 62, personal life's tanking, but his star, about to blast off like a rocket. Is that the flick they call The Pink Panther? Who's headlining? Peter Sellers. We gotta track that dame down. Sellers' take on Inspector Clouseau, critics stacked it up against Chaplin and Keaton. Pure gold. He basically birthed the character solo, and it stuck as his forever jam. Nailed Golden Globe and BAFTA noms too. Sorry about that. I was aiming for your duds. Let me plant one on your mug instead. Stints in 2 Kubrick bangers, Lolita and Dr. Strangelove, locked in his Tinseltown cred. Strangelove let him flex hard, juggling 3 roles like it was nothing. Old hat from his radio hustle. He straight up idolized Kubrick, unlike some other Helmers who caught his wrath as the crazy train derailed. Early on, he'd lean on woo-woo stuff like astrologer Morris Woodruff or channeling the spirit of dead vaudevillian Dan Leno from 1904. Peak fame? He went full weirdo, banning green and purple like they were kryptonite. No green threads, no green co-stars, or boom, freak out. Publicists had to scrub hotel rooms for purple vibes or face the storm. Sellers locked down wife number 2, Swedish knockout Britt Ekland, just 10 days after Sparks flew. Age gap? A whopping 19 years, but hey, whatever floats your boat. Jealousy hit like a freight train, controlling her outfits, hogging all her downtime, even sicking a doc on her mid-shoot in London to fake sick her out. Boom. Fired. Now totally reliant on him. Yikes. Lost in that mess, his prickly set vibes created during Kiss Me, Stupid with Billy Wilder. It's going down. What's going down? She just whacked my cheek. Attaboy. One wild night with Eklund, Sellers popped amyl nitrates for kicks, and bam, 8 heart attacks in 3 hours. Epic survival, but he bailed on the shoot. Wilder? Zero pity for the headache ex-star. Then 1967's Casino Royale, that Bond spoof crammed with A-listers like Orson Welles and Ursula Andress. Total train wreck. 6 directors, writer overload, budget exploding, and Sellers fumed because it veered comedy when he craved straight Bond swagger. Bio-whiz Roger Lewis spills. Sellers kept tweaking the script to hero up his guy. Welles dubbed him a rank amateur. They wouldn't even share frame. Sellers decked director Joseph McGrath over gripes. He pieced out unfinished, freeing him to nuke his Eklund marriage. Next, the Bobo, Sellers and Eklund together, recipe for disaster, and it delivered. Endless scraps, Sellers barking at the director to axe her. Eklund owned it, Sham City. Mid-chaos, his mom stroked out. Too wrapped in his drama, he skipped the bedside. She croaked days later. Gut punch he never shook. Salt in the wound. Eklund ditched him pronto. The 70s? A parade of dud picks and worse heart flutters. Midlife meltdown raging. 47-year-old Sellers wed 23-year-old model Miranda Quarry in 1970. By 73, kaput, natch. Then he tumbled into a whirlwind with Liza Minnelli post-show. Engaged in 3 days, despite his ring and her fiancé. Month later, fizzled. Divorced anyway. Dodged a bullet there, folks. Round this era, insiders whispered nervous breakdown. TV host Michael Parkinson books him. Sellers freaks, no real me to flash. Solution? Rocks up as a Gestapo goon for the chat. Classic. Mid-70s revival bid. More Pink Panther flicks raked cash, props, buzz, but tantrums amped up. As he aged, his gal stayed fresh-faced. 1977, wife number 4, 23-year-old Lynn Frederick. She got the rawest deal yet, per Roger Lewis. Total nightmare fuel. 1979, shot at Drama Gold in Being There as Dopey Gardner Chance. Sellers went full method, ghosting cast and press. Jackpot, Golden Globe win, Oscar nom. But true to form, highs crashed hard. Post-release, he pulls 15-year-old Victoria on the pic. She digs it, jokes he looks like a chubby old geezer. Snap. He hurls his booze, boots her to the next flight. Sarah calls him out. Telegram smackdown, one of their final links. Pals begged for hot dogs, but nah, stubborn as a mule. Collapsed on a Dublin set, then jetted to Cannes 2 days later. Reckless much. July 22nd, 1980. Set to reunite with goon buds Milligan and Seacom for grub in London. No dice. Heart attack drops him at the hotel, gone at 54 2 days later. Burial prank? Demanded loathed Glenn Miller. In the mood for the goons. Last laugh. Hidden truth. He was scheming to boot Frederick from the will entirely, but kicked before signing. Kids? $800 each from Millions. She stiffed him on extras. Eklund later pegged him bipolar, but therapy? Hard pass, enigmatic mess for sure. On the Muppet Show pre-death, he swaps costumes and voices galore. Kermit. Just be you! Sellers. Can't. There's no me. I don't exist. Had the old me carved out surgically. At least no Nazi get-up that time. Speaking of wild Hollywood heartaches and hidden demons, y'all got to peep the shocking truth about Barbara Eden I dropped in my last video. It's a total mind-blower, trust me. Must watch right now. And get this lesser-known gem. Turns out Sellers was a beast on drums, gigging in jazz joints pre-fame and even cut comedy LPs that flew under the radar. And yo, if Sellers' chaotic genius didn't blow your lid off already, get this mind-bender. The dude amassed a jaw-dropping collection of over 130 cars. Yeah, you heard that right. 130 chrome beasts. From swanky Rolls-Royces and Bentleys to fire-breathing Ferraris like his ultra-rare 500 Superfast. one of just 36 ever made, snatched fresh off the London Motor Show floor in '64, and even cheeky Mini Coopers he tricked out for laughs. We're talking a garage empire that screamed Pink Panther on wheels, with custom plates like PS 2204 just to flex. Hidden truth? He'd crash 'em left and right in his manic moods, totaled a Ferrari GTB chasing Sophia Loren once, yet kept stacking more like it was therapy. Straight-up automotive insanity that outshone his on-screen antics. Wild, right? Radar. Another buried fact? He was born Richard Henry Sellers, but ditched it after that stillborn bro. Talk about ghosts. Oh, and that death wish vibe. Right before the end, he was low-key plotting to rewrite the will and leave Frederick Zilch, but time ran out, left his legacy in even messier knots. Fast forward to today, 2025, the centenary year of his birth, and his fam's carrying torches amid the chaos. Sadly, son Michael bowed out way too young in 2006 from a heart attack, eerily 26 years to the day after Dad, at just 52. Daughter Sarah's holding it down in London, running a cozy antique shop and spilling tea on growing up Sellers style in fresh interviews this year. Victoria. She's thriving as a jewelry designer out in sunny LA, channeling that creative spark. Redemption arcs all around, proving the comedy king's bloodlines got grit. If you dug this deep dive from timeless voices, smash that like button, sub for more unfiltered celeb sagas, and drop a comment. What's your fave Sellers flick? Peace out.